So Siegfried, when did the hi-fi thing begin in your life?
When I was a schoolboy, I built my first speakers. It was in the 60s. And at that time, we had the conversion from mono to stereo slowly coming up.
Right.
And when I grew older and started to study on physics, it was in 1971, then we started to build the first amplifiers.
But why would you start building speakers as a child? What would have prompted you?
I liked it. I didn't have good ones. You know, at that time you had mono systems and relatively well amplifiers. And we didn't have good speakers at home. And so I was interested, and then I built my first self-builder speakers as a young boy. Maybe I was 14, 15, something like this.
And you went on to study physics.
Yeah.
That's what you completed as your education?
Yes. I studied in Hanover, and I finished in plasma physics, developing a tunable laser system with the frequency range we use today for CDs. And when I finished and had my exams, I had to decide what to do. I had several offers working for AEG, which was a big company, and they started in laser light conductors that time. Remember, it was not existing in the 70s. Mm-hmm. This was one of the offers I had. Another one was working in a nice atomic plant in Dubai. Was not our intention to go there. And but then I decided to make my own business, because during I studied in Hanover, parallel to my physics studies, I studied on electroacoustics.
Okay.
And my professor was Fritz Sennheiser, the founder of Sennheiser.
Sennheiser headphones.
Yes, he was a great guy. He established Sennheiser in 1946, right after the Second World War.
Okay.
And I was lucky to have him as my professor for 1.5 years. And honestly, this was a very important thing for me to develop into the world of acoustics.
Okay.
Because we had general lessons, special lessons. He supported the university very much. And so I got more and more interested in speaker building, in active speakers, and Sennheiser was a very upfront company at that time, and this was very important for me. And of course, as a student, I personally didn't have money,
right?
And so we tried to make some money with some friends. So we built speakers, sold them amplifiers, things like that. And suddenly I met a very clever business guy and said, "Oh, your speakers are so great, I can sell them." I said, "No, not possible." He ran around and he sold them. So it was for me, as just an engineer or physicist, it was very astonishing. But it worked. And then I thought some time about it, but I saw that I could develop a business, and then I started.
And that was T+A.
It was T+A, meaning theory plus application.
People who know of T+A today might be surprised that it began as a loudspeaker company, not as an electronics company, because you have a lot of electronics.
Yeah, but that's a different, okay? That's your vision from outside Germany.
Right.
In Germany, still the older people know T+A as one of the most important speaker manufacturers.
They do. Yeah, because in North America, we always saw the electronics.
On electronics, because in the 80s, together with several other companies, we were one of the biggest speaker manufacturers. For example, the TMR 160, the model you saw in our bar, the big one, we built more than 11,000 pairs within 4 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go back then. As a speaker company, what was the first speaker? How did it all begin?
The first speakers were typically classical German three-way systems with dome tweeters, bass reflex systems, very nice cabinets and furnitures, because this was what the smaller dealers have demanded. And we had a special solution. I think many people will not know anymore. It's based on a system a company called Sonab from Sweden had invented. These speakers were indirectly radiating. it's not the way of speaker we know today with two stereo systems.
Right.
You placed them in the corner of a room. They had the woofer was firing upwards, and we had several tweeters, firing around, so that we had a lot of reflections, a very diffuse sound field, due to the time, because stereo was not that important. People came from mono in the 70s.
Yeah.
And so these setups were built for living rooms to make a comfortable sound field in the entire room. Bose started with the 901 systems like these ones, indirect radiating.
Do you think there's merit to the approach today still?
No.
No? Okay.
No, it is because today you could not develop a real, let me say, stage with these systems. Only reflect. Sounds nice, but diffuse, no precision, no orientation of the sound field. So it's not what we would call hi-fi today.
Right.
But it was very important, very successful. It was a niche. We started with it. And then the second generation, which was very important, was our Criterion line, which we still have.
Still have the Criterion.
And these were transmission lines, because at that time already Lothar Wiemann joined the company as a student.
Yep. He became your R&D director?
Yeah, director later on, when he studied on physics as well. When he has finished in 87, he overtook the development department. But he worked for us already as a young boy and as a student, and we developed the first Criterions.
Right.
Transmission lines, something special, very good looking, extremely good sounding.
Why did you go with transmission line?
Because we liked the principle.
Okay.
Because the bass, if you handle it correctly, the bass response is fantastic. And at that time, of course, sensitivity was a case. Today, maybe not that much, but the amplifiers at that time, many valve amplifiers, transistor amplifiers, not that strong. So it was very important to have efficient loudspeakers.
Okay.
And the transmission line is efficient. It is very precise, exact. So we like that. That's the principle we are still following today in some of our lines.
Okay.
And then in 84, the next big step happened. Together with Lothar, we developed the first Solitaire speakers.
Okay. And Solitaire still exists today?
Still exists today,
yeah.
in the newest versions. But at that time, we developed a fully active speaker, which was a little sensation at that time.
Right. You said early 80s, 84?
84.
Yeah.
84. And they had all an electrostatic tweeter.
Okay.
And it was not only fully active, it was fully equipped with feedback systems. We patented an optical feedback system for woofers. We had a capacitive feedback system for the mid-range domes. And of course, an electrostatic driver, which doesn't need a feedback system. This was the really first high-technology product we brought out, and this, honestly, was very important for our reputation in Germany and in Europe. And, it brought us into the high-end society, let me say.
And so you started in 78 as you. Did you have a staff at all in 78?
Or 2 people.
Okay, and then by 84, when you were doing this with Lothar?
Around about 20.
Okay, so that grew pretty quickly.
Yeah, grew quickly.
Okay, what was the next?
The loudspeakers were good.
Yeah. Let me ask you this, because I've talked to some designers who are embarrassed to look at their original designs. Yeah. Do you look back at those original designs and say, no, there was some good stuff there?
The Criterion was good.
Yeah.
This was something which still could use today.
Okay.
They're really good.
It's incredible design.
The Delta indirect speakers, still we have customers who love them. We still repair them.
Oh, wow.
But it was, let me say, a use.
Yeah.
Something like that. No, it was, it was the market at that time.
Yeah.
They were good. They were solidly built. But let me say, the sound idea we have today is not what those speakers delivered.
And how does it differ?
Yeah. We really think that that stereo is currently the best way to reproduce music.
Okay.
And those speakers were, let me say, a little bit diffuse and not able to give such a stereo basis and precision.
Yeah. But when did you really get into electronics? What were they?
Okay. The plan was just to learn, because building speakers is totally different to building electronics. Speakers, good speakers have 40, 50 parts. Electronics have 2,000. So that means you have to change not only your development, you need more qualified staff, you need a better organization. You have to change the company, because it's really a totally different task. And we learned a lot about building those small amplifiers, active speakers at that time. And then we decided, after nearly 10 years, to build a severe development department with 4 engineers.
And did you move into a new place to do all this?
We just, at that time, we finished our first new building, which you still see here, which is the first part. In there we had the administration, the development department, and the production. We had around about 35 people working for us at that time. And then we hired technicians and specialists, and then we started to develop with those engineers the first, semi-digital hi-fi system, which we called AudioCon. AudioCon because I think we have been the first company to use RS-232 interconnects between...
So for connection.
For the connection, yes.
Yep.
And that we had a master unit, which was a receiver, a power amplifier, and then we had units like CD players, like tuners, separate, what all could be controlled with one remote control by the master system.
And this was 1989?
1988.
1988.
We started the development, and we came on the market in 1989.
Okay.
And it was a huge success, and honestly, it was a big trouble for us as well, because suddenly we looked at numbers which we simply couldn't produce.
The demand.
Yeah, the demand, we didn't have it. And so we decided to make the next building here.
Okay.
We stopped everything for nearly 1 year, made the new building, made the new infrastructure, the new PPS system, that we really improved our organization.
Right.
And from 1990, we produced the first electronic line, the AudioCon system.
So 1990, you got a much bigger company.
Yeah, it became bigger and bigger. And
how many people would you say?
Yeah, let me say around about 50.
Okay.
At that time. And in 1999, the share turnover now was half electronics, half speakers.
In 1990?
In 1990,
okay.
Yeah. And as I said before, in the 80s, T+A was one of the biggest loudspeaker manufacturers.
Okay.
And now we turn more into electronics. And we saw that our opportunities in the market are much better with electronics, because there are a lot of speaker manufacturers. Mm-hmm. At that time, we had in Germany around about 300 speaker manufacturers.
Wow.
Yeah, okay. Small companies.
Yeah,
1, 2, 3 employees. Still, they exist, but at that time, sales building Zine, all these things, you will know Zeas, Vifa, all these companies. And the loudspeaker have been very important. And so many small companies existed. But electronics is a different thing.
Yeah.
We didn't have many competitors at that time.
Oh.
Okay, the big guys like Grundig, like Sony, they still manufactured in Germany, but 10 years later, they went.
Okay.
And this is why we, meanwhile, are the biggest electronic manufacturer in Germany.
Right.
Although we don't have the huge numbers, but we are the only high-end company making big numbers.
Okay.
And in 1990, we concentrated more and more on electronics, because we saw the huge opportunities we have.
And so then after that, what was the next? You've obviously, the company's got increments of growing, right?
Yeah. Yeah, no, the next step, okay, like always, my wife said, the AudioCon system sounds great, but it's a system made by engineers for engineers.
Okay, so a little complicated.
And it was true. So all the reviewers, the testers were really enthusiastic. But sometimes my wife or some other people said it would be nice to operate them easier. So, it was a little bit like a computer.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, because we're using the first processors and in the audio history. So this was different. And then we said, okay, we have learned a lot. And then we started our R series.
Okay.
in 93.
Okay, and you still have an R series today?
We have it, yes. And it's, let me say, it's a reduced system.
Is that what R stands for?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah. It had a remote system, remote control.
Yeah.
It was much easier to operate.
Okay.
We went back to buttons.
Okay.
So that, you know, this is my tuner, this is my CD player. Okay. Not so complicated, but sound quality even a little bit better than we had with the AudioCon system.
Okay.
Of course, we learned and we improved. So the R system turned out to be a huge success because it looked a little bit nicer, was easier to run and operate. So this was one of our key products. And as you said, we still build it.
Build an R system. And then in the 2000s, should we jump there?
Yeah, no, perhaps in between what happened in the middle of 90s to the end of 90s, it was very, very important.
Okay.
Because until that time, we mainly worked in the analog domain. Mm. And then we started, the development department grew. Jörg Küpper, who is our chief of development today,
right,
came to us as a young engineer from the university. And he started with the first digital developments.
Okay.
Based on the Motorola 56000.
Okay.
And then we really started to make digital filters. We made digital preamplifiers. We made a full digital active speaker, only with a digital input, digital crossover, room processing, everything in 1995. So this was something which we added on our speaker and analog experience and knowledge. We added on the completely digital knowledge.
This is very interesting because I've always, although I never knew the T+A company well, I knew its digital expertise.
Yeah.
And it went back many years.
Yeah.
And it's very interesting that you started that early.
Yeah, I think we were one of the first companies doing it. Another good company was Meridian.
Yes.
With their active speakers as well. Very similar idea in concept. And of course, Varia with their CD players using cubic splines, which are very similar, or which have the similar idea and plan as we are using with our Bézier filters.
Right.
It's the same mathematics algorithms to improve the oversampling procedures. And this was something which we really developed to a very, very high level. We used them in our converters, in our active speakers, and in our digital preamplifiers.
Right.
And this was a very important thing. Later on, some people thought T+A is a digital company, but we are not. We are using digital where it is good and still using analog where we think it's better.
Right.
So in all our systems, you find a great combination of both. Where it's possible in the bigger units, we separated analog from digital.
Okay.
So that we use the best advantage from both worlds in our systems to improve the audio quality.
Okay. So we're still in the 90s.
Yeah.
In the 2000s.
Yeah.
Streaming? You were one of the first to get in on that?
Yeah.
Or see the future of streaming?
Okay, streaming came up, but it was a little bit negative. You know, we lived in the audiophile world, and we had the idea to make a streaming client, mainly at that time for streaming MP3 files.
Right.
I think some of our old-fashioned high-end customers wanted to kill me because they said, "Well, how bad it doesn't sound."
The Napster days. Yeah.
It was really crazy. I think, okay, wait. You will see once we will have better formats than the CD offers. And it's true, within a short time it came out.
Yeah.
But honestly, you know, our facility here, we had more than 300 dealers here for training.
Right.
Just to make them believe that it works and that it's better. We invested a lot of time and money, and but it was very important for us. And our E-series, then Caruso, and then the R-series, they all had then, instead of a CD player, they had a streaming client.
Right.
With a combination of CD player and streamer, which we call music player. Because the world changed. Music at that time came from CD, tape. We had tape recorders in the 90s. Came from, of course, vinyl. But now we don't have 4 different systems or tuners. Yeah. Now we have music players who have digital tuners, CD players, digital sources, inputs, and of course, streamers.
Right.
And this is what we call a music player.
What would you say the next increment in the company? Would it be the HV series, or did something come before that?
Yeah, okay. The HV series is that what is visible today.
Right.
Now, more people outside Germany identify T+A with the HV.
Okay.
Especially America or Asia or Russia.
Big, unbelievably well-built components.
Well-built. Yeah. In Germany, still, it's the R system.
Okay.
Although we sold a lot of HV systems in Germany as well, but T+A, the classical design of an R system, Bauhaus style, clean.
Yeah.
This is something people think of when they hear T+A. Okay. That's a different to other countries.
Yep.
There now, you are right, HV is the most important thing, but HV was not our first step into the real upper high end.
Okay.
We had a line called V series. V means valves.
Yeah.
And
tall amplifiers.
Tall amplifiers or integrated valve amplifiers at that time with more than 100 watts per channel, which was really good. Lothar developed some really great concepts. They were strong, sounding extremely well, faster than other ones, bright. So it was a really huge success. We started this round about 2006, 2007, the V series. We had SACD players in that line, preamplifiers, amplifiers, and power amplifiers, integrated amps. And it was really great because we loved it. We loved the sound. But then we faced a huge problem regarding valves, that the quality really became a problem. Because in the first amplifiers, we used new old stock, which has been built in the 70s. And we bought that stock, and they worked all perfectly. And then we had to replace these valves by, for example, some Russian types, which were made on the same tools out of the DDR, which they took over to Russia.
Right.
They built them, and they were so horrible, honestly, that we decided in 2010 to stop that line.
Okay.
Because of we could not guarantee the reliability. We could not guarantee spare parts in the quality we needed. And then we said, no, we stop it. But we didn't want to forget the valve concept. Mm-hmm. And, what is the major advantage of a valve is the high voltage. Valves are operating on very high voltages. That means we have a very linear amplification. We have very fast signal response. And then Lothar's idea was to say, okay, let's do that electronically. So the HV series, high voltage, means high valve.
Yeah.
So we took the same designs, tried to, let me say, copy the features of a valve by electronic means.
Right.
Which is relatively
expensive. Solid state.
Solid state. Yeah. Yeah. Which is relatively expensive because you have to build everything in discrete.
Right.
Due to the voltage.
Due to the high voltages.
Yeah, due to the
operating at much lower
op amps won't live.
Yeah.
So so it's totally discrete and analog.
Right.
And this was a huge thing because the sound, we could transfer the positive sound aspects of valves into the HV series.
Yeah.
And this was the idea, and I think many people liked it, could hear it. Uh-huh. And I think that's one of the key reasons for the success of the HV series.
Okay.
Well, today we're making nearly 40% of our turnover with the HV.
Oh, it is. So it's that important. It's not just optically.
Yeah. It's fantastic.
Good for business. No.
Yeah, yeah, it's good.
And I will say that, we'll get onto this though, but what the HV looks like and is built like, and I've seen it being built and internally.
Yeah.
It might be your most expensive stuff, but it's well priced for what you get.
Yes, thank you. Yeah.
What's interesting to me with all these developments, so you come to T+A and you're in this big building, and it looks very corporate, but there's a lot of innovation that isn't typically corporate.
Okay.
And which is unique. You might have a style in your components that's kind of understated,
Yeah.
But there's a lot of technology and innovation in the use of tubes,
Yeah.
the use of these special digital filters,
Yeah.
transmission lines. There's a lot of innovation.
Yeah.
It's not just textbook products.
No.
And why is that? Is it your vision? Is it your desire to build products that really...
You see, we are engineering driven. That's a positive thing, but it could be a negative thing as well in a company. But we have, I'm the founder, I'm a physicist, and I love technology. You know, I became a pilot because I love flying. I have a very fast car, I have a motorbike, all these things I like. Simply, I like technology.
Right.
So I love it. And I want to have the best possible technology. And the same was Lothar, and the same are our engineers. You got to know several of our engineers.
Yeah.
They all are, as we say in Germany, taking the same wave.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's what we like. And honestly, we do what we like. And that's the positive thing. The engineers here do not work for saving money, 1 cent or 2 cents in a resistor to make a system cheaper. No, they invest their work making a system better. And this is why we all love our work, and why the people, I think, really love to work here, because we all have the idea of building as good as possible products.
And let's bring up now the headphones.
Yeah.
Your son came into the company,
Yeah.
and I understand he spearheaded the headphone project, which is kind of your latest thing.
Yeah.
It started about 5 years ago, 4 years ago?
3.
3 years ago?
Yeah, 4 years ago. Yeah.
Yep. And he kind of brought, hey, let's get into headphones. What did you think of that?
Not good. No, honestly, yeah. Our problem is we always have too many plans for our capacity.
Yeah.
And okay, everybody comes up, build this one. And Lothar and I, we are full and said, okay, next year. Okay. And Konrad said, okay, good. I think we will lose a lot of business if we don't do it. Okay, we have a very, very good relationship. And he as well in the company. And he discussed and he pushed. And he said one very important sentence, which convinced me. He said, if you want to have a better sound, you buy a better speaker. If I want to have, or if my generation wants to have a better sound, they buy a better headphone.
That's a good point.
And that's the point, because I'm relatively old. Konradin and his friends and some of our young engineers, they are young. So they do not prefer big speakers. This is our generation. We love big fat speakers and separate listening rooms and whatever. They are used to listen to headphones because all time they have them in their ear running around, and then they want to have a better sound, they buy a better headphone. This is the point. This is something which I simply did not realize. We thought about it, said, he's right. It's the old guys will buy the speakers, the young guys will buy the headphones. And that's the change in our consumer behavior, which we have to accept. It would be stupid to ignore it. And then we decided we first evaluated what kind of headphones can we do, what is practically to do it here without the experience. But of course, we are good acoustical people. We have good acoustic engineers. Max, he used to make some studies in headphone company.
When you're acoustical engineer.
Yeah, acoustical engineer. And of course, I know a lot about planar drivers when I have developed the electrostatics. And then we said, why don't we do a magnetostatic headphone? Because I love planar drivers.
Magnetostatic, for those who don't know, the technology, the driver technology. You went
know it. It's a film, it's magnets. Okay, this is something we can handle.
Yeah.
And then we started to develop the Solitaire-P as a magnetostatic headphone.
Yeah.
And it turned out to be, I think it was easier than I have expected.
Oh, yeah?
And we have all possibilities here, tooling, we have the engineering, we know a lot about materials which are good for it. And because we made acoustic components before,
Right.
And so the development was 1.5 years.
Okay.
And we had a huge success.
Yeah.
People were, of course, surprised, but it was suddenly an additional, as we say, leg in our company, because we have speakers, we have electronics, and Konradin was right, we were missing headphones.
Yeah.
That's the third part of the acoustic business.
And what kind of surprised me with your success was the Solitaire P was the first one, right?
Yeah.
Not inexpensive.
No.
So here's a company that comes out with their first set of headphones.
Yeah.
Quite expensive, and it's a success.
It's great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Success.
And that's impressive.
And yeah, but it's always, let me say, we did not choose the cheapest technology. Magnetostatics are very expensive to build, and we built them all here. They're all massive aluminium.
Yeah.
If you take a normal transducer, it could be much cheaper.
Right.
But I wanted to have the best result again.
Yeah.
Because I think magnetostatics they have the best result for headphones.
Yeah.
Better than dynamic ones. So this was the idea, making a real good one. When we saw that it is good, we went to the market. Then we made the Solitaire PSE, which is a little bit cheaper because we're using different materials.
Yeah, the materials are kind of toned down a bit.
Yeah, but it's still an extremely good quality. And so now we have a line. And you see that we now have the Solitaire T,
right,
our third model, which is very important and even goes down in the price level a little bit and in the target group, which we're going.
Right, because it's got noise cancelling. And
noise cancelling, and it's a dynamic passive headphone, but we have add-on noise cancelling, we had add-on Bluetooth connectivity, but with some very special features. So this is the next step. Right. And for us, headphones now already are a very important part of the business. And one thing, just let me mention, we are an electronic company, so we developed a wonderful headphone amplifier.
Yes.
The HA200.
Yeah.
And believe me, we were surprised by the numbers we sold. It's a very expensive unit, but obviously the concept is great that many people, even in the professional area, use it as their, as we say, working horse. Yeah.
And now that, and Konradin's part of the company now.
Yeah.
He's your COO.
Yeah.
But you've taken a step, not back, more to the different area of the company now. Because I think people would be surprised. How many hours a week do you work?
For me, 60.
Okay.
Yeah. Sometimes 70 if it's very tough, but 60 is normal. Yeah.
And you like it.
Yeah, of course.
This is what you do. Because now that Konradin is here, I understand what you told me is it gives you more time to get back into the development than running the company.
Right. That's right. Connie studied on economics, and then I think he told that he went to a special university in Germany where he made his master's. They are specialized for, let me say, educating managers for company businesses. Yeah, that means this is a very special thing. He learned so many things which I should have learned before. Right. It means economics, all the organization of companies. This is what we had to learn, where we made a lot of faults at the beginning. Right. Honestly, it was. Sometimes I'm wondering why it went that well, because we made so many faults. Which I see today, with my knowledge I have today, that I'm wondering how could it work. So you don't mind if we tell people a few secrets? The two biggest mistakes we talked about yesterday when you started the company, you said were the lack of awareness of the importance of marketing and also the business organization. Right. We just engineer, only interested in good products. This was the most important. Didn't care how to sell it, which pricing, if the profit is good enough for the company, all these things which you don't know if you are an engineer, which you have to learn. Yes. If I would have had more ideas about economics, I would have made many things different than I did it at that time. Okay, it worked out. But this is what I see today, and I'm happy that Konradin joined the company because he has a very good economical education. He knows a lot of things which I had to learn or even today do not know in the perfect as he has. So it's a natural thing that he's overtaking now more and more of the company, bringing in a lot of more ideas. Since Konradin is here, we have grown our marketing department with a huge success. We see that really in numbers, because my generation and we as a company targeted mainly on high-end people. That means on audiophile people loving products. But we had the development that more and more people buy products not because they are audiophile, they buy the products because the products are good.
Yeah.
And they love them. And we have to say it's a luxury market where we are in.
Yeah.
So the target group has changed. And we, with our ideas, didn't have access to those people. And this is something which Konradin and his team brings into the company, which helps us a lot. Building the image, building the brand name. We didn't care about the brand name.
Yeah.
We cared about technology. But the brand name is even more, maybe more important.
Yeah, it's important for what I see, and you haven't strayed from this. The quality in the product is important. But what I see, a lot of, and we talked about this, is company brings a product to market. Here's the product, buy it.
Yeah.
You got to gain trust from the consumer. You got to be able to service it. We did a video and we talked with you about that. The ability to back a product that you bought, that this thing can be serviced. It's reliable. It's all has to all be taken into consideration.
Yeah.
And communicated to the consumer.
Yeah, and today, of course, with the possibilities we have by using the internet and the media, we didn't have that 10, 15 years ago.
Yeah.
So we didn't learn how to handle it.
Yeah.
If I see what results we have now by using these media, it's enormously, and this pushes the company.
Yeah. So where do you, speaking of push the company, we didn't mention this, but it's important. T+A makes a turntable. You've made one for years, right?
Yeah.
So you're into vinyl. So you're into digital. You're into vinyl.
Yeah.
You know, you got the HV amplifiers. You know, your expertise in tubes. You kind of got it hands in everything across the thing. You know,
what is audio?
Yeah. Audio. You know, the all-in-one player, the separates, that sort of thing. What do you see as the short-term future? What can people? What do you see? Do you see some advancement coming next?
Yeah, I think. For the next years, I don't see a big revolution.
Okay.
I see an evolution. That means streaming now is in everybody's head.
It's just there.
It's there, and we have to improve it.
Yeah.
People, I think, have learned during the last 2 years especially that it's very nice to have a nice home, to enjoy quality, to enjoy music.
Yeah.
This has helped us. I know COVID was a nightmare for the world, but it changed, I think, the mind of people.
People invested in their homes, and Hi-Fi benefited tremendously from that. Yeah.
And of course, I think it's a change in thinking as well, because those people say, okay, it's worth being at home. It's worth enjoying music. Music, I think, is still our biggest cultural benefit we have. Okay, more than videos or whatever.
Yeah.
Because you can watch a film 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
Then you said it's good. Yeah. But I have music pieces which I heard 10,000 times.
Yeah, yeah.
And still love them.
Yeah.
So this is something, this is culture for me, and people see that it's more important. Not rushing that much, taking more time, and this is something why I'm not afraid of the future.
Yeah, no.
We have to build good products, we have to develop, we have to be in front of the development, but I think these are things we can do. So I'm very optimistic.
And I can see when, you know, I was here 6 months ago, and, you know, Konradin was, and I didn't expect you to be working quite as much 6 months later, you know what I mean? But you're like, oh, no, now I can do more in the development.
Yeah.
So as you're going to be involved in the company for many more years to come, there's no question about that. What do you want to see as Konradin takes more of a lead role, as T+A grows, or just... What do you want T+A to be in the long term? What now that you've got this company and it's gone through all these evolutionary steps, what does it stand for in the future?
I think we still have very good opportunities in export market. You know, our biggest market still is Germany.
Yeah, you're huge in Germany.
Yeah, we are a market leader here in the high-end business, and which is good, which is a solid thing. But I think we have very good opportunities. We see that now in the United States, as we have our own company there, how the growth is. There is a big market for us, a lot of work, which is Conradin is doing this. And as well in Asia, we have very good opportunities. So I think I want to make something like a worldwide company out of it. That means that we have a basis here in Germany, but that we are able to serve all the markets.
A global high-end,
high-end company, yeah.
Because you're still not there yet.
No.
Big company, and this is a big company by high-end standards, extremely strong in Germany and Europe. But there's a lot of potential.
And so this is why I'm very optimistic.
Yeah.
We have to learn. We don't have to be arrogant that we say the German way is the right one. No, we have to see what's happening in the world. And this is, for me, a wonderful thing, because I like to learn. I like to see what other people are doing, and what is possible, what we can change, what we can improve. There are some things which perhaps we wouldn't like to do, but many things where we see, oh, somebody is doing a very good thing. Let's see what we can learn, what we can do, how we can improve our quality and our product.
As the creator of T+A, how would you like to be remembered? Your contribution. How would you like people to...
Oh, that's a difficult question. Yeah. Honestly, don't misunderstand me, but I don't work for other people, you know. I'm happy if people say, this guy is okay and he makes a good job. That's a fine thing. But that's all. I don't need more. I don't need a medal. I don't need prizes or whatever. I love my work, and I'm happy if people like what I have done and enjoy, you know, with the products which we have delivered, so that they say T+A is a good company.
Perfect. Thank you very much.